I just asked Seamus, actually. I'll get your view on it. Is it inevitable that winning a couple of home games and beating Forest Green in the way you did at the weekend does have a positive effect on everybody and get those confidence levels up? And if so, how important can that be going into a really difficult away game?
Oh, it's very important. Confidence, and mindset is very crucial in football and, and all sports, to be honest. But we had to start winning at home. We've got to start turning that into our fortress. And we've still got half our matches to play there. And, we're going to be reliant on trying to get the necessary 16 points or more, predominantly from the home games. And then anything we get from the away fixtures is a bonus.
Now, clearly you're not saying that it's a free hit or whatever going to Portman Road, but is there less pressure going there because you won your last home game and you've taken 3 from 6 already, if you see what I mean?
I think so. And we've generally performed quite well at Ipswich. We were unlucky to lose on the first time we went there. I think we lost 1-0. And we played quite well. And then it just hasn't materialised last time we played there. So we've got to go with a game plan. We've got to try and stick to the game plan. And we've got to try and react to their threats and try and post some ourselves.
They've won their last 3 against teams who are kind of in and around you in the relegation zone. They've not conceded in the process. Is it a separate thing trying to keep your back door shut and stopping them scoring and then trying to find a way to score against them? Or does it go hand in hand? You've tightened things up away from home, particularly recently.
Yeah, well, I think it does go hand in hand. But if you look at Burton playing them on Saturday, the game was undone in a 10-minute spell, but Burton, were well in the game in the first half, and we've got to take off from that Burton can compete with them. And we've got to compete with them, but we've got to ask them questions. There's no point just trying to put your head above your hands and just sit on the ropes and get battered for 90 minutes. We've got to go out there and try and pose some problems ourselves.
That's always been your philosophy, hasn't it, over lots of years? An invasion game, spend as much time in their half as possible, that sort of thing. Does that mentality change at all with your league position?
Not really, no. I mean, the key to it is hard work. So if the players work hard, they'll generally find themselves getting into the opposition's half more if they're prepared to do their hard run. And then you've got to compete with them for every second ball, for every first ball. Set plays. You've got to be compact defensively, but you've also got to try and find a way of scoring from yours, and we did on Saturday. And there's all facets of the game that can. And the more that you get right in your preparation and then your execution of it, be it your passing, be it your marking, be it your running stats, be it your aerial challenges, the more them you get right, the better chance you've got of getting something out of a game of football.
To continue your boxing analogy from earlier, how important is it that you can take one on the chin? If you do concede a goal, that it doesn't turn into 2 and 3 and then they run away from you?
Well, it was good that it didn't happen on Saturday. We stood firm. Lucas has made a couple of good saves, to be fair. And I think we're getting mentally stronger. I think the lads are understanding the jobs, the roles in the team. And the more you get them playing together, the better their understanding of each other becomes.
How many teams are in this, do you think? All the way up to Oxford?
Probably 7 or 8. And it's tough. It's going to be tough to finish outside that bottom 4, but we're out of it now. And, the longer we can stay out of it, the better we give ourselves a chance.
40 and a decent goal difference kept you up last season if you were in League One. Is it going to be more than that this time round?
Be well more than that, I think. I think you've got to get to way over 47 before you'd even think about being safe. So, we're trying to get to 50. And we think that mightn't even be enough.
So a point a game average between now and the end of the season still might not be enough, you reckon?
No, we're looking at trying to maybe take 16 of the last 14 games. And if we can win the majority of our home games, well, then you're nearly there. We've performed well on the road in certain parts of the season. Not really got the rewards that we've deserved, but every game's a battle. Every game's a scrap, and tomorrow will be no different.
It seems a bit daft to say it when you finished mid-table last season and you're in a relegation battle this season, but has that been an improvement this year? The away form, the way you've stayed in away games?
Possibly. It's very difficult to judge this season because of the chopping and changing. I think we've used over 34 players, which isn't my style at all. I think everybody knows that. But your hands are tied with the injuries that you get. So, in my time as a manager, I've never encountered so many injuries. I've never encountered a dearth of goals like we have this season. So, it's all a learning curve for the staff as well.
I was going to ask you about the goal scoring, actually. Aaron Pressley, 5 now after scoring against Forest Green at the weekend. If he can get 8, 9, 10 before the end of the season, might that be the difference? Because a lot of the teams down there are drawing 0-0, losing 1-0, winning 1-0.
It could well be the difference. We need to find goals, and it was pleasing to get more than one on Saturday. Would like to have made it a bit more comfortable. We had a couple of chances to make it 3 and didn't take them. But you're concentrating just on each game you play, and you're trying to carve out opportunities and keep them out at the other end. And we won't think too far ahead, and we certainly won't give ourselves targets of numbers of goals that we've got to score. We want to try and score in every game we play between now and the end of the season.
And to score goals, you've got to create chances, of course. And I know you've spoken this season about doing that on a regular basis and not putting them away. But it must have been quite satisfying to see that familiar McConville delivery centre forward scoring at the weekend.
Yeah, Sean's put some great balls in that hasn't been attacked by our players enough. And we need to do that more in open play as well. We made a conscious effort to get more balls in the box. I think we did on Saturday. And that's something, it's all well and good getting the balls in the box. We've got to get people into the box as well. So that's something that we'll be continually working on between now and the end of the season. And
you talked about having to chop and change and players going in and out. Sometimes do you end up stumbling across something that works really well? I'm thinking of Ros Longello at right wing back, for example, that has proved in recent weeks to be quite effective, and maybe people wouldn't have thought of if they looked at your squad and everybody was fit.
Possibly, and certainly the back three, that wouldn't be a combo of choice at the start of the season, but they've acquitted themselves really well.
And we talked about tightening up defensively. Is it a case of that back three, the shirts are theirs to lose now because they're keeping the clean sheets and winning games?
I think so. They're working really hard, which is always a big help. They're still learning the game. There's still not a lot of games between Barbara and Mo. And every game they play, they should learn more. And, John's been going through the clips with Mo today, and he's very, very keen to improve and improve his understanding of that position. And the more he plays, the better he'll be at it.
And just lastly, just talk me through the preparations, because we're not sat in the same room doing this interview, which is a very, very rare thing, even with the global pandemic behind us. You're already down in the Suffolk area the day before the game. Is this something different for you? Is this a bit of a departure from the norm?
Yeah, we're lucky to be able to bridges. We're lucky to be able to use Woodbridge facilities, which is very good here. And Dave kindly has used their pitch to sign on. So, we'll work on what formation we're going to try and play tomorrow and come up with a plan.
Because I know you were quite upset earlier in the season about midweeks with overnight stays and the impact that was potentially having on the results. Is this a conscious effort to do that, but in a different way and give you more preparation?
Just do something different. It's a long week for us this week. We're not going to get home till all hours Wednesday morning. And then we've got to go to Charlton on Friday. So, not ideal, but we'll do our best.
And how much resilience do players need to kind of deal with that, be all out of kilter and all the travel and stuff? Is this kind of designed to try and make it as easy as possible for them?
Well, we're always trying to take the strain out of the players. It's sometimes difficult. You've got to travel. We're we're not blessed with a budget that we can fly the players down. And so, you'd have to do the hard yards on the coach. And there's no right or wrong way, people always relate the results. Oh, the travelling must have been the issue. It's not really. It's how you play. And if you play well, you could turn up 10 minutes before the game as long as you win the game. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. You do what players feel most comfortable with. We have in times used the train, and I know the players like that because it's more relaxing, an easier ride. So that's something that we will continue to do, I think.
Personnel wise, anything different squad wise from the weekend?
Not particularly, no. But Roz has shook off that knock that he got, so that's pleasing.
Sean Worley was absent at the weekend. Was that illness?
Ill, yeah, he's still ill. So,
and you didn't have Matt Lowe, who he had that slip, didn't he, at Burton? Yeah. Is that what that's down to?
Yeah. So Matt just rolled his ankle. So we haven't got Matt and we haven't got Sean till next Saturday.